another week and another episode of the Granny Panty podcast, where I love to highlight mature creators in the adult industry. My guest today is someone that I really looked up to from my pretty much my first day in the industry. Saw her do a presentation for an online seminar, and I was just drawn to her. So help me welcome Beth McKenna.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I love your friend in the back there.
Yes, this is Gus. He just woke up from a nap apparently, so he's got to make waves.
He wants to be on the podcast today.
He does. He does. We'll have Gus as a guest star. How about that?
There you go, co-star. Well, I'm excited to get to know you today. Like I said, I saw you do an XBiz seminar, and it was on taxes and legal aspects of the industry.
Sure.
And at the time, to find out that you were also an adult creator, I just thought that was amazing. Partly because at the time I was still working as a social worker. So I had my day job and then doing the adult business in the evenings and weekends.
Right.
And so combining that professional life with the adult life, I thought really drew me in. So, of course, I want to start off and find out, how did you get into adult content creation being a lawyer?
At the time that you saw me, I was still practicing full-time in a law firm here in Mississippi and doing adult stuff on the side. Yeah. It was hard. It's basically, well, it's like doing two full-time jobs at one time, and it's just not possible to do both well,
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I would look at the hours per week. It could easily be 70 hours a week between the two jobs.
Absolutely.
And you're right. I wasn't able to give 100% to my business, but I did quit my job full-time in April of 2022. So
awesome. Yay. I bet that was freeing.
It was. It was very freeing and then fun to watch my business just go crazy because I could concentrate on it.
Right. Awesome.
But tell me, how did you find yourself in the adult industry as a practicing attorney?
Well, to be honest, it came from a boring marriage. I was married. My fiance would call me a homoerotic bisexual. Bisexual homoerotic. So I'm bisexual, but my relationships are with women. So my then wife and I had been together for 16, 17 years by that point. And we're still best friends, but we just weren't having sex, and we just weren't intimate. We had great partnership ability, but not the intimacy. And I turned 50 in August of 2017. And it hit me like a brick, not the age, but the fact that I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. Right. I love her, but I need more, And so I didn't even watch porn before I turned 50, other than, just a few little tricks college boyfriends played on me to try to shock me. And it didn't, but, it's like, oh yeah, there's that guy. But that was like the old 70s porn. It was like truly, cringeworthy. But they were just trying to get me to react.
Right.
So I started watching porn, and there was a site, Girlfriend's Film was one of my favorite sites to watch, and they had a series. I think it's called. Well, crap, I can't remember what it's called, but it'll come to me. But it was a lesbian series where two female and they are all obviously Girlfriend's Film is all girls, but they had a series where they would put two female performers together and they would interview each other.
Oh.
And it might have been called Real Sex or something like that. But they would interview each other, and then they would go have a scene,
Right.
And the information that those interviews provided They talked about testing. They talked about the reality of, do we fake orgasms or not? And some do, some don't. And, all sorts. It was very informative. And so in watching porn, not just lesbian porn, but straight porn as well, I started thinking about, I could do that, I would love that, So in May of 2019, another performer, she's actually a writer, producer, performer, Jay
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, just popped up on Twitter with, okay, I need fresh meat. Who's in? Just to see who bites. I'm looking for new performers. And I did the little emoji with my, the hand up. And she was like, okay, are you serious? Pick a date.
Yeah.
And she told me later, she said, I've never had anybody bite and actually go through with it.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, you hadn't met me yet. But when I decide to do something, I go do it, So,
Yep.
so I set up a week in May where I went to Los Angeles. And like my first day in porn, I did a photo shoot with
Mm-hmm.
Dean Capture. He's an awesome fella.
Love
And
him. I've used him too.
yeah, he's amazing and such a sweetheart. He and I had bonded because he's from the Memphis, North Mississippi area, and I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. So we bonded over barbecue and ribs and whatnot. But so that photo shoot was my day one in porn, and then day two was a girl shoot with Jay Taylor, and then a boy girl with Jay Taylor, and me. And my questions for the week were, number one, can I do this? I mean,
Mhm.
I'm naked there's a camera person or more,
Right.
other people around. Does this bother me? Not
Mm-hmm.
even a little bit. And then do I like it? Do I enjoy it?
Right.
And the name of the boy girl video is Just Like Coming Home. That's what it felt like.
Oh,
That was like,
nice.
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So the light
That
went
is
off, and
awesome.
yeah,
Wow, you just jumped right in. It
I
seems like
did.
when I talk to a lot of people or interview them, or even for myself, we started like selling panties first, or doing something that kind of led us to filming content. But
Right.
I love that you knew right away that was something you wanted to do.
Well, and I didn't. So when I got on Twitter as Beth McKenna, I started following, because the porn I was watching, I would follow those performers.
Right.
And then, I ran into Dean Capture on Twitter, started following him, that sort. But so I started interacting with these mostly female performers,
Mhm.
and other people say I should teach a class on networking. But to me, that wasn't networking.
Mhm.
It was just, finding common ground, finding, somebody likes music, so we talk music, and, oh, have you heard this? And you go back and forth. And I've never approached them about, hey, I'd love to shoot. It was
Mhm.
very respectful and just friendship, and not trying to push my way into the business.
Right.
And
Right.
so with that, you gain their trust
Mhm.
and respect. And then when I did start shooting, when Jay Taylor put that Twitter out, um, then it was just like, oh, cool. And people were like, big name women were following my story and
That's
tweeting at me. And
awesome.
it's like, oh, I'm so excited for you. All that kind of stuff. So it was really, and I didn't even know about camming back then, because all I was
Mhm.
doing was watching porn and then interacting with performers on
Right.
Twitter.
Right.
And I would like to cam some, but I don't want to cam, like, I don't know how they do it. The people, men and women, that cam for hours or all
Yep.
day or whatever. My goal is to just cam. I want to cam just to interact with the fans that are there and that want to get to know me.
Right.
I'm not looking to make money on that. It's just an interactive way to get to know
Yeah.
fans and them get to know me. But
Yeah.
I hats off to the cam people out there. My God.
It's the hardest thing I do. And the thing about Cam is where my heart is. I mean, that's where I got my start. But the thing is that when you're in front of cam, you can't do anything else. I can't work OnlyFans. I can't, sometimes
Right.
you can get content when you're making or when you're camming, turn your phone
Right.
on if
To
you know you're
record
going
it.
to do
Right.
something. But you're right. It is tough.
It's
Cam is a
tough.
tough business.
And to be on for that, I mean, and I know like a performer, a cam performer that cams all day,
Mhm.
obviously they're going to take breaks to eat or to go to the restroom, all that kind of,
Right.
take a breath, but you've got to be on all day,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that in itself, I'm sort of an introvert, so that would be very difficult for me too.
Yeah, it is. But I encourage you to try it. I mean, and there's so many different sites that, you can be on sites that do just private shows. So
Right,
you're not as much sitting in that public feed, but
right,
token sites are more about sitting in the public feed and
right.
chatting and
And
yeah,
it's
that's awesome.
Yeah, the couple of times, it's very odd. The couple of times that I have gotten on, I don't remember which campsite it was. One of the big chatterbait, maybe, I don't know,
Mhm.
um, but I was literally, I had gotten a new camera, an
Oh,
external USB camera, and was trying to set it up and was just trying to fiddle. Or in the past there was the OBS software that you had
yep.
to, and it's not user friendly. And so I was just sitting there trying to figure out, can you hear me? Just testing. And people started joining my room, I made like $1.42 just testing. It was hysterical.
It is true. I mean, that is true. People just
And
start
they
tipping
couldn't
you.
even see, they could hear me, but they couldn't, I had a model picture that was on their side, but they couldn't see me on camera. They could just hear me. And I'm like, talk to me, type something. I don't know. Yeah. So
I love
no
it.
clue.
I love it. So at what point, tell me, did you go part-time lawyer and then, so what is your balance? Is it part-time lawyer, full-time content creator? Talk to us about that.
Okay, well, so I started in May as the half and half, and
Uh-huh.
then, to be honest, and I think I've told this story before, so it's not earth shattering or anything. They found out, my firm found out, and they
Oh.
fired me, rightfully so. Um, and their reason was not because I was doing porn. Their reason was because I was doing other work on their time,
Mm.
and they were
Yeah.
absolutely right. And some of my best friends are still there. I love
Mhm.
them. We're on Facebook together, and we get to dinner and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. I have
Right.
no grudges, but it did me a favor. I was actually in the Miami airport about to fly back from a shoot. And it was over a weekend, but they just found out. And so I got an email from the managing member of the firm saying, we need to, and it was a Saturday, we need to meet with you
Mhm.
when you get back. And I'm like, uh-oh, they
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
so I had a minute or two of panic, like, because I wanted to go full-time porn.
Right.
I wasn't ready yet, but I was exhausted from trying to do both.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I flew back and got to the firm, and
Mm.
um, they told me that they knew and we needed to pack up and get out and stuff. And I understand. And, I don't have a truck. So they even helped me. I have like bookcases and stuff that you'd need more than
Mhm.
a SUV to carry.
Right.
So they even got a trailer and helped me move all that stuff home.
Wow.
Good
Wow.
guys. They're very good guys. But after that minute or two of panic sitting at the gate in Miami, I was like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I don't have
Mhm.
to return phone calls. I don't have to bill my time. I don't have to, oh my God, just this weight just lifted.
Right.
Even though I wasn't financially ready, it was honestly the best thing that ever happened. So from,
Also, too, when you could, dedicate 100% to your
yes,
business, that income's
absolutely.
gonna grow.
Exactly. Exactly. So I started shooting content full time,
Mhm.
and I got way behind because I didn't know how to edit. I'm a lawyer. I type words for a living. And so I didn't know how to edit video. I
Mhm.
had never dealt with any of that.
Mhm.
So I found a guy. It took me a while. I knew the guy that I wanted to hire. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, I think you met him, at Quick and Dirty Media.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the guy. That's my guy. But I kept telling him, I'm going to get it organized and get it to you, but I just never did. So, and then COVID hit, and I
Right.
had this massive backlog of content that had never been edited, never been released.
Okay.
So we just went to town and just,
That's
so
awesome.
I was lucky during COVID that, yes, I couldn't shoot, but I had all of this backlog of material. And I know others were not so fortunate, but
Yeah.
it made me get organized and get my videos to him where he could start moving things and stuff. But
That's awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
I plan to use him at some point. I need to get that backlog. I'm one of those people, like, when I start making content, like, I'll just crank it out, but it's like scheduling it in.
right, exactly. And
Um,
he's great at editing, but he also schedules my the release of new
oh,
videos every
nice.
Friday. I use four now. I think we're going to X video too, but mini vids, clips for sale, AP clips, and I want clips are the four main ones that we
Gotcha.
use. And then
Nice.
I also release them on the fan sites. I do OnlyFans, Fansly, and Loyal Fans. And so
Wow.
since those members are paying to be members, they get those videos at a discount than what you would get on MiniVids. So, but he handles all of that. All I have to do is go out and shoot porn,
Nice.
upload it to the computer, put it on the folder where he can access it, and he does the rest.
I
So,
love that. I love
mhm.
that. I'll need to talk to you more about that process too. So you lose your job, which is a blessing in disguise. And I know
Right,
what you mean because when I was a social worker, I was like, God, I wish they'd just fire me because then somebody else makes that decision. I mean, for me, I wrestled with it for so long.
right. And
But yeah,
every
that
trip I would go
beauty.
on before I left the firm, I would just, my God, I wish I could do this full time, you know. And I had threatened to move out to Los Angeles and all this kind of stuff. And I can't move. I'd love to in the future. I can't move because my mom is here and I'm
Mhm.
her only child. So I'm here. But the more I live here, like I live on a lake and I'm looking out at it now and it's beautiful, and I have a family network here. I have a network of very close friends here, and it would really suck to leave that. So I would honestly rather stay here in a refuge
Right.
and then go shoot porn and then come home to my refuge.
I was gonna say you can fly anywhere, and in this business,
Exactly.
especially with the fan site stuff, I mean, as long as you can find performers to shoot with, where you're at, you can live anywhere.
Exactly.
That's a
Exactly.
nice thing.
And I'm the only one I know in Mississippi, so I travel anyway,
Right,
whether I'm going, I
right.
have a lot of people I shoot with in Florida, and then Vegas and LA are my other main cities that I go to. But
I feel you. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and it's actually pretty dry out here. I've managed to meet a few performers as I continue to go to events, stuff like
sure.
that. But man, we not much options out here. When you have one testing facility for like this whole
Hmm.
area, you know that it's pretty dry.
Do you have to use TTS
Yes,
for
that's
your
all there
testing?
is available here.
Me
Yeah.
too. And for mine, now that they're adding the swabs, which I'm fine with adding the swabs, but now I have to drive an hour and a half one way to get to a testing facility that works with TTS. So it's a
Yeah.
day. And my fiance Olivia is starting to work in porn more,
Hmm.
but for her, but she still has a full time job. So for her to drive an hour and a half to
Oh,
get tested to go just for a weekend to shoot somewhere, how is
right.
she going to do that? So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
painful.
It is painful, and I'd use my primary care, but they believe it or not, that clinic isn't part of their labs is not doing the swabs. So
Weird.
that I know that is really weird. I just went through that, trying to get it through there because it's not cheap to pay for testing. I mean, out here, not only with the one facility, you've got your TTS fees, but then also that lab tacks on a bunch of fees, and so you could
Oh
easily
man,
be
yeah.
three
And then
hundred.
there's the shipping fee to overnight it to the testing facility and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, it adds up. And now that we're adding swabs,
Yes.
it's and it's funny. I had planned a trip to Florida for the beginning of February.
Mm-hmm.
And in talking to the woman that I stay with and shoot with when I'm there, she sent a text the other day that said, well, so and so is out of town that week, so we don't have them. We're down to like 2 days of shooting. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay over
Right.
$300 for testing for 2 days of shooting.
Right.
So I'll set up. We're going to wait till March where all those people are available.
Yes.
And we'll work our butts off every day for 5-6 days, and that makes it worthwhile.
Oh, definitely.
You know?
Definitely. Yeah, it can really get expensive, and you think about how much money am I going to make off this scene, and yeah, you as a business person, you have to think about that as well.
Well, and it's funny that, if you're in LA or Vegas, you can shoot all the time, so you're steadily testing.
Yes.
And it adds up, but at least you're getting content, you're getting paid shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you're in the same boat I am, that your spouse will shoot. So,
Yes.
and my fiance does. So at least we can make content together without having to pay for testing.
That's true. That is true.
So thank God for
And
that.
when we travel, we both get tested so we can shoot. So there's like $600 right there before
Right.
you even leave town.
Exactly. It's frustrating.
But one of the reasons also I was excited to have you on is you're a mature performer like myself. And so I want to know your take. What do you think is different about being a mature performer in this industry versus younger?
That's a great question. I've seen a lot on Twitter, and I've met several younger performers that have had much younger performers that have had bad experiences being taken advantage of by a director. You've got to do this before I'll put you in so-and-so movie or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know if it's my age or my personality or both, but I just walk in a room and you're not going to get anything over them. It just, and so I've never been mistreated on a set.
Same.
I've never been mistreated by a co-performer, whether it's content or a paid shoot. And I think we get that advantage because we're older. We've lived, even if we haven't been in the industry forever, we've lived life, and we know what a bad proposition looks like when we see it.
I think you're right. For sure. We've got that life experience combined with our age. So we ain't gonna take no shit off nobody.
That's right. Exactly. Well, and it also comes, you have this too, working in an office environment where you've worked with men in an office environment and if I were to wager, you've been slapped on the butt or, different things. I have too. And so you learn to deal with that. And as a younger person, like as a young lawyer or even before law school, I was slapped in the butt at a firm I was clerking for before I even got to law school. And it was by a man whose son I grew up with. He lived 2 doors down from my aunt and uncle, still just, and so you feel like, you're under their control at that point. Either you suck it up or you lose your job. But, but later, that's what I always worked for, is to be independent. And I don't have to suck it up. I can kick you in the balls if I want to, And that's the way it is in porn. It's like, I don't take anybody's crap. And if it looks too good to be true, it probably is,
That's true. That is true. And what do you think physically, being an older performer, how do you think that differs from being younger? I know I can tell you right off the bat, for me, there are positions when I shoot with other guys who do shoot with younger. I'm like, yeah, my knees don't bend like that. We are not doing
I have that too. Well, I don't know how tall you are, but I'm 5'10", and there's a lot of leg there. So like cowboy, reverse cowboy, I'm like, what am I doing with this knee? And, it's ridiculous. But the one thing that I notice with, especially male performers, I like in the right setting, the right scene, I like hard, not rough, like slapping and all that kind of stuff, but I like hard, just pound me. And they
aggressive.
initially, what now?
Aggressive. That's
yes. And so, and that's the funny thing is I'll allow women to top me, but I do not allow men to top me. So even though I may be in missionary position, I'm the one in control. You know,
Right.
even in personal sex, in porn sex,
Mhm.
whatever, I'm the one in control. So the funny thing is these very established male performers will come in and I was like, she's in her 50s, better be gentle. And I'm like, fuck me. It's like, do it. If you're going to do it, do it. And so they just act so like I'm such a fragile vase or
Right.
something. I'm like, oh no, you need to bring it. And so that's what, so I get comments about that so much after a scene that, wow, you really like it like that, don't you? I'm like, yes, that's what I've been telling you the whole scene is do it.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. And luckily for me, I haven't had any issues with like the vaginal dryness, even though I'm through menopause. I don't know why. I've just been really fortunate, I think.
I haven't either, but I still use lube. I
Oh
mention
yeah.
that every chance I get. I
Yep.
always, with men, use lube, even though I don't have issues with dryness. I will make it. It's like a platform for me, really.
Mhm.
I will make it obvious on screen. I don't. I don't like sneak off and it's
Right.
like, oh,
Right.
hand me the. We're on camera and you're
Yeah, let's normalize lube. Yes.
absolutely. And toys and stuff. So,
Yes. I just shot a new scene while I was in Vegas and actually had my co-star use a toy. That's not anything I'd done in a scene
mm-mm.
before.
Was your co-star male or female?
Male. Male.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And I think so many people think that and that's another of my platforms,
Mhm.
is that so many people think that uh, men more than women
Mhm.
probably, but that if I want to use a toy, then he or she is not good enough to satisfy me. And that's not it at all.
Mm-mm,
It's
mm-mm.
your teammate. Think of
That's
it that it's your teammate, not your competitor. You know.
that's true.
So some of the best sex I've ever had is with a guy and a vibrator or
Mhm.
whatever. So,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
the thing I try to normalize lube and toys and all this stuff. But
Right. I
it's
love
okay to
that.
do that.
I love it. So what have you've got do you have any big projects coming up for 2023? What are you working on? Tell us what we can
Well,
expect.
more content. I'll be going to Florida in March. I don't know if you go to the Exoticas or any of them, but I'll be going to Chicago in April, the Exotica in
Okay.
Chicago. That is a very fun show, if you have not been. And so
Okay.
I'll go there, and I've already got shoots lined up. There was a guy last year that I didn't know. He sent this very long, respectful. We follow each other, so he could
Mhm.
DM me on Twitter. He sent this very long, respectful, like detailed DM to me, and I'm like this. And I let Olivia read. It's like this is too good to be true. This
Right.
is this is crazy. I mean, he would be the dream man if this were true. Well, it turns out that, and so I kind of, it's like, oh, I'm booked up, kind of blew him off for this past April Chicago.
Mhm.
But then he was, there are seminars that are put on during Exotica,
Right.
and
Right.
some of them are very interesting. And so this particular guy happened to be the model, who was showing the woman was talking about different positions, and he was the model that was showing them up on
Nice.
the stage. And so I'm like, and then I figured out who he was. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. You know, I'm so stupid. But we've already been in contact. I'll see you in Chicago in April. So
Good.
but
Do you
yeah,
do you
that's
do any
another.
other exoticas besides Chicago? Do you do New
I I
Jersey
I
or
do Jersey. Those are the two that I regularly do.
Okay.
I don't. It's crazy to me to set a convention of any sort, whether porn or
Mhm.
anything else, in Miami in June.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Let
hot
me
here
hot.
in June, but Miami, seriously. So, and then the DC one is so close to
Yeah.
Christmas.
Mhm.
I'd love to go to that one. I hear it's a good show, but I'm never organized with Christmas enough to be able to go to that. So I
Right.
customarily go to Chicago and Jersey. And
Yeah,
those are both great
I've
trips.
been to New Jersey in 2021. That's the only exotic I've been to.
Oh, wow.
I usually go to all the other events, XBiz, Why Not, that kind of stuff. But I
Uh-huh.
would like to do an exotica this year, I think. So, yeah,
Consider Chicago. Yeah.
maybe. So you've got lots of shoots booked this year.
Mhm.
Any pro shoots that coming up with
Not
studios?
not so far. I'll be out in to make up for missing AVN and XBiz in January earlier this month.
Hmm.
I'm going to set up a longer trip
Hmm.
to just to LA and then another one just to Vegas. Um,
Nice.
so I'll be able to pick up some of those paid shoots with
Right.
people there. It's funny, the paid shoot schedule's so far out, but the
Mhm.
content creators are like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I might have a paid shoot, So it's hard to plan
Yeah.
both in the same time frame. But
Right.
um,
Right.
but yeah, I'll start working on my with the paid shoot people first and set that, and then
Right.
fill around it. That's what I typically do.
Yeah, get the paid shoots first for
Mhm.
sure.
There's
Um,
a have you ever done the wrestling? Ariel X does and there are other people that do too, but she's my favorite. The It's like wrestling porn that like two people wrestle, and it could be two women, two men, one of each, and they wrestle, and she's asked me to be on that because I'm tall
oh,
and fit and stuff, and I'm like, I have arthritis in my toes.
I was just gonna say I could never do that.
And you're barefooted, and I never go barefooted. I'm
Mhm.
always in shoes, even at home, so there I have tender feet. So, and she's like, no, no, we'll take care of you. We won't let you get. And it's like at that point when she first approached me, I was still working at the firm. I'm like, I cannot afford to be hurt. I still have a job I have to do, and so no, no. And she was like, no, no, we can take care of you, and not let you get hurt and all this kind of stuff. It looks fun, but
I couldn't. I get hurt too fast. I
me
mean,
too.
hell,
Me
I
too.
broke my wrist the summer before last just going down a slip and slide at my adult son's house.
Oh
So I'm like,
no.
I don't think wrestling is a good thing for me.
No, no. Wouldn't recommend. But she
Well,
has another site, I think, where she is dominated by the
no.
other performer, and so
Ooh,
maybe
we'll be
that.
watching for you to do that. You're gonna make
Mhm.
your wrestling debut.
Right? Maybe. We'll see. But
I
but
love it.
the top bottom thing that I've done, I'm also into BDSM.
Hmm.
And that first week of my porn career in May of 19, the other thing I did was I set up a session with a female dom in Los Angeles.
Oh,
Loved
nice.
it. And I didn't know, I've never experienced anything like that. So
Mhm.
I could be honest with her about, I will never say I have no limits, but because those are the people that really have no
Right,
clue. But I had enough awareness to know that I don't know what they are. I would
right.
like to find out what I like, what I don't like. So it was like a 2 or 3 hour session, and
Nice.
we filmed it, and she got the content, and I got the
Mhm.
content. And I've done two other longer sessions with her since then, and
Wow.
we film it and sell it and stuff. So that's really cool too. But I've always been the sub. I've never been the dom in those
Okay,
situations. So
okay.
I would like to branch out.
Yeah, I am more dominant. I have a dominant personality, but there's also like I'm kind of a switch because there's a point where I'm tired of making decisions. I want
Yes.
someone to make those decisions for me.
What are we having for dinner? I don't know.
Ah,
Yes. Yeah, I know
especially when
exactly.
you own your own business and I run I live the business 24/7.
Right.
Rex still has a day job, that kind of thing, and you know, he's my stunt cock. And but I just get
Yeah.
tired of making decisions some days.
Yep.
It's like I have made so many fucking decisions today. I don't even care, what I'm gonna
Right.
eat.
I'll just eat cereal. It's fine. I'll be fine. You know? Yeah, I do that the same way. My ex-wife was one of those people that could never decide where to
Ugh.
go eat, or, if we were going out, what do you feel like eating?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know. And so I'd keep throwing out different things, and Chinese, Mexican, and oh yeah, but that sounds good. It's so frustrating. So I learned to give her three options, and you can choose one of these three, nothing else. And that's it. And so then you get there, and the menu was overwhelming. So then I started having her look at the menu online before we
Oh my
went, so she
gosh.
could narrow it down at least. Yeah, I love her, but that was I God or whoever put her in my life to teach me patience.
I
It
love
was
it. I love it. Well, as we close out the show, I've been so excited to hear your story because I'd never heard I didn't know that you got fired from your firm and all this good information.
yeah,
I think we've shot for some of the same, or at least, well, I've only done one pro scene, but for Score, I
yep,
think we both shot for Score.
yep.
So a lot of similarities, but one of the things I love to ask my guest is for a granny panty tip of the week. So what's a tip that you would give women who are older? It can be about anything. It can be sexual health, sexuality, it could be
Hmm.
beauty, it could be exercise.
Wow. I think what I would say to that is and we're living examples of that.
Mhm.
Be yourself. If you don't want to be sexual at all, that's perfectly fine. If you are hypersexual, also perfectly fine. Be whatever you want to be sexually
Mhm.
and in any other way, but don't be apologetic for it.
Yeah.
I've always had a very high sex drive, and I've always been taught
Oh,
in the South, the Bible Belt, that, oh no, we don't do that sort of
wow.
thing. Oh no, that's but now that I can be myself completely, and
Mhm.
like at home, my friends know what I do.
Mhm.
So, and we joke and pick, but I'm completely open at
Yeah.
home, and I go and do what I want to do. Olivia is open and accepting. She
Mhm.
goes and does now. So that's the biggest piece of advice I would tell,
Yeah.
especially women, is go be what you want to be, whether it's sexually or career wise or as a mom, whatever. Go
I love
do
that.
what you really want to do, and don't apologize for it.
I love that. And I'm glad you mentioned that your friends know because all my girlfriends know. In fact, all
Right?
my whole family knows.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, we weren't the ones that decided when they knew or not. We got outed. We were close to telling them,
Yeah.
but when that got out, you're right. Very
It's
freeing because there's
freeing.
no
It
secrets
is.
now. Before it was like, gosh, why are mom and dad are traveling all the time? Why are they going to New York? Why are they going to Miami
Mhm.
all the time? But yeah, very freeing. And so I
Right.
love that piece of advice
It
for
is.
sure.
Yeah, my
For
mom
sure.
doesn't know, but I have other family members that found out that I'd rather not know. But
Mhm.
but there was a girl around town that was a friend acquaintance that was just spreading the word around, like, we're runners. So she'd go to
Oh,
the Fleet Feet running store and, have you seen? Oh my God! And so I don't know, who knows, but I
yeah.
finally just embraced it,
Yep.
and, like, I don't care if you know. I care if my mom knows, but that's the only
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
You know.
My 81-year-old dad, I've told him in really, really generic terms, and I'm not sure that he understands it, but that's okay. At least I have a witness that I did tell him.
That's right. So
Whether he
he can't say, "Oh, you never told me that." Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. You just weren't listening, but
that's
well,
right.
thank you so much for being on the
Of
podcast
course.
today.
Thank you for having me. I've had a
I
blast
hope
with you.
I hope I see you at Exotica, and I can't wait to collaborate with you at some point.
Same.
I know
No,
we kind of got derailed for our last um,
right. But I'll
scheduled
make it.
time.
I'll make it up to you next, whether it's an Exotica or next AVN. Next time we see each other, I'll make it up to you.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again, Beth, and I can't wait to see all this new stuff and content that's coming out for you this year.
Thank you. I'll be watching you too.
Sounds good.
All right.